Welcome back, everybody. League of Inches podcast, round 13 review. Pretty good round of football. Considering the Stars were away, we're all getting keen for Origin on Wednesday night. Upsets galore. Put my hand up right now and let you all know, do not follow my tips in ever again. I got 0 from 5. So great week of tipping. It did mean my team won for once, which was great. I was there for it as well. So that was really cool. Talking about that, I got to experience the Field Club. You do know that we're giving away the 2 tickets for the Field Club. Thanks to Jason at Advisory. Go onto the page of the Instagram or the Facebook page. You'll see the post there to give you the steps to follow. Throw Advisory a follow and a like. Give us a follow on YouTube and add a comment in on the post. And you go into the draw to win those tickets to the Eels versus Storm game. Honestly, it's probably the best thing I've been at the footy so far. It's the best footy game day experience I've ever experienced. It was awesome. You get to see all the players walk out and stuff. You get to see all the commentators that are all just walking around. Food is ridiculous. It's delicious. The drinks are free. It's great. Just don't get into an argument with Jason about what you can actually get from the bar because it might not work out well for you. But it was awesome. A 10 out of 10, 100%. I know Adam's getting pretty keen for his experience for it. But Jace, I'll throw to you quickly. Thanks again for that giveaway. I hope I was good company Thursday night. It was a great experience. And it's something you get to experience pretty much every home game. You're so lucky.
Yeah, well, lucky. It's still someone has to pay for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great experience, and thanks for coming. And as you saw,
Thanks,
everyone's there. It's almost like you're part of the setup for Fox or Channel 9. That you see all the people and watch the boys run out with the fire and the fireworks and I don't know what it's called. It's like the air explosions that they do as well. So you get to see that all, front and center, and you walk out to the field. Yeah, drinks are free, and I do get into arguments with the bartender about what we're supposed to.
The drinks are free. The drinks are free for some people. We may add. I saw your face when he said the drinks are free.
Drinks
for him.
Drinks
for
are
you.
free, of course, if you win the tickets. Yeah,
yeah.
But I always get into an argument because I'm a regular and they always tell me what I can and can't have, and I'm like, pretty sure I know what I can have. Don't tell me what I can and can't have.
And it was good because I was able to get Denica, so it was really, really good. Carried on from Magic Round. She mentioned that she heard us, Adam, yelling out. So and there was
we saw you creeping in. We saw you creeping in the background on Channel 9. Don't worry.
Thanks, Channel 9. I was there having a sipping on a water, guys. There was a few people messaging me said that was not water. It 100% was water. I was quite parched at that time, and then I was ready to just get home and curl up in bed. Enough of that. Hopefully, we've sold it to you well now. Make sure you get over, enter that competition. It's such a good experience. Even if you're not a Para fan or not a Storm fan, I recommend you're right there at the ground level, literally watching, and you can smell the sweat on the players. You can probably feel the sweat dripping off them. It's a great experience. But a couple of talking points, obviously, for this week. Before I get into the talking points, I want to ask each and every one of you boys, this is something that I didn't put in the agenda. So let's see straight off the bat. Do you like the Origin affected football? This comes up every year at this time of the year. I've got an answer I think that might surprise. Adam, I'll throw to you first. Do you like the Origin-affected football?
I wouldn't say I love it. As we saw for the tipping, it's quite hard. I think I got 2 out of 5. I went for all the upsets in the Magic Round and got 1 out of 8. And I should have gone for the upsets this week. But look, it's one of those things where it happens. I guess it's a bit of luck of the draw. If you're a club that's going to spend the money to obviously sign these big Origin players, or a chance to play Origin, it's obviously a risk you're going to take. To have them miss, I think the most they'll miss is 2 games if they're able to back up, because teams obviously get the bye as well. So I guess you're gonna run that risk to have them for another 24 games or whatever it is, and have the best players obviously in the game if they're selected for Origin. So although from a fan thing, I don't love it, and I probably didn't watch many of the games after I watched Parramatta win and Newcastle get hammered. It's part of footy. It's part of what we're used to now.
Goosey.
That's one dig.
Yeah, there's got to be. You know what? Let's play a drinking game tonight. If you're listening or watching, anytime Adam has a dig at the Knights this episode, you've got to take a skull. So let's see how many you get through, and let us know in the comments how many you get through. Goosey, talk to us. Obviously, that jersey's disgusting, by the way.
Up the Canes, baby.
Shut, beep that out. Do you like the Origin affected footy?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Like the Warriors, they never really have Origin players except for Mitchell Barnett, the best player of all time. But other than that, they don't it doesn't really faze me as a Warriors supporter. Like at the end of the day, when the Warriors are playing, we're versing teams that aren't full strength, which is perfect for us. So I don't mind it, and it also gives youngsters an opportunity to come through from the grassroots and have a go in the NRL. And I think it doesn't affect me, so I'm loving it. So keep it going.
Would you say it's because New Zealand don't get rugby league?
Well, if we don't get it, then New South Wales really don't. So
I set that one up for you.
In addition to the drinking game, anytime Goosey mentions Mitchell Barnett this podcast, you got to scull your drink as well. But please
Mitchell
drink
Barnett,
responsibly.
baby.
Tyler, come in, brother. Obviously, the weekend, everyone, you're starting to see the stats that a post that Tyler is putting together. So he's doing a remarkable job there. You're getting some very good feedback about that. But the Origin affected footy, you're a fan of it or you don't like it?
This year, this year so far, I'm loving it. We don't have many Origin affected players, so we are playing with a full strength. But as Goosey said, it gives these young players from grassroots a chance to come up. We saw it in the very last game for the Cowboys with Jackson Purday coming through, and I thought he played exceptionally well. And it's nice to see those young players getting a shot in first grade.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that one. I actually love it. I like to see the fact that you've got to get to look at these club squads, and it's all about squads these days. I feel like with more and more injuries coming along as well, it's all about seeing those good young players coming through. Adam's laughing.
I'm going to say something. Tyler.
Yes.
If Mitchell Moses somehow gets picked for Origin 2 and 3, I'm going to find you and I'm going to turkey slap you. It's as simple as that. Okay? And you will deserve it. That's all I'll say. That is the ultimate curse. That's the ultimate curse. We're not affected by Origin. You watch that space. Sorry.
He has 100% getting selected in game 2. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
That's another discussion for another show.
Whether
New South Wales win or lose, he will be in game 2 and 3.
Well, they're losing, so now. Let's just get it right.
Jace, do you like the Origin affected footy?
Yeah, I love it. I reckon it adds to that challenge of the comp. Because if, for instance, like Penrith have got 6 players out, and every year they get about 6 players out. I love it. I love seeing them depleted. I love seeing them cop the challenge. I love seeing them with the whole, all the Penrith fans are like, because we had players out. Absolutely love it. I love St. George beating Penrith. It was absolutely great to watch. It's a round for upsets, and I think it adds to the challenge of the NRL comp where teams and coaches have to plan, and it's an extra part of the challenge that I love to see. And like Tyler said, we had a full strength side. Great to see that as well during Origin period. So
apart from Hopgood, who I personally
full strength. Full strength.
Yeah, but he'll come back a better player.
You're on the list now as well, Jace, because that was almost a curse as well. So I just want to add one thing to that. If your team's strong enough that's got Origin players in it, you shouldn't really be affected if you lose 2 games across the Origin period anyway, because you should be able to win the games, obviously, the other 24 rounds
next
man playing. Yeah, exactly right. And we've seen it with Penrith. We've seen them go through and win those games, obviously, because they've got that next man up mentality. It's one thing that should be added to it. Like, there's always this talk about a standalone weekend and shit. Like, the players win, your season goes for long enough already. I hate when there's no football on the weekend, so please don't do that, because then they used to do that international break thing where there was Origin and the other things. It was just terrible. I hated it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And look, people might say that the actual ability of the players, and that might be a little bit down with those stars out, but I'd actually argue we're potentially seeing one of the matches of the year so far last night in the Raiders versus the Dolphins. I thought that was a thriller. We are going to talk about the controversial finish, guys. We are going to get to that, so don't jump down the microphone now or anything. We are getting to it, but I thought the game overall just kept building. I just felt like I was on the edge of my seat of that game, and I personally don't really care about either of those teams, so it must have been a good game for me to have that reaction. Alrighty. Origin news. We're not going to talk about too much, guys, because as you're listening to this, it's going to be Monday. We are going to do a special Origin preview show tonight. So Monday night, 8:30 at this stage. We're going to get as many as we can on. Blues and Maroons get a bit of a vibe for each. Hopefully we don't go at each other for an hour and a bit, but it will be a live show. That's why this isn't a live show tonight. We will do a live show for that and talk all our Origin points. So let's go in. Edwards out. What are our thoughts about this one? I'm going to throw to the Queenslander now. So does it have you? It looks frozen for a second there. Do you have? Are you worried now that Tedesco's back, or are you just thinking that's all right? That's all good.
Gee, honestly, like it doesn't even faze me. From the start, I said Teddy in, like Edwards out, just because I thought it was Teddy's jersey. So like, I'm not even stressed. It doesn't matter who you have. G, it's game over. So.
I didn't realize there was a delay going to New Zealand.
So
He's
get your
frozen.
drinks ready. So.
How much have you been watching on your internet today? Because you're 3 seconds behind us. You're just my name's
It's like his international
Actuals.
international interview on the old international interviews. Would be that awkward pause. Are you actually gone to New Zealand for the night or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
have.
Oh, that's a little bit better. We're getting you back. Jace, you got the Blues hat there on. I'm pretty sure I can see that. Yeah, look out, and the VB.
Yuck.
Yeah, VB. How good that
Yeah.
is. Just what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts around this? Obviously, Edwards a big out, but
Yeah.
if Tedesco's your next man up, I think it's not a bad position to be in.
Can I add some flair to this question? I had some floating remarks and comments and stuff in the group chats with my mates, and there's a bit of a call that there's a conspiracy happening. That it was all just for show, and Edwards was picked just to do the little slip at the last second. It's all just fun and games and a smoke screen. And
I tell you what, rugby league, the more and more we get into group chats and stuff, the amount of stuff you hear, it's ridiculous. We are in like this 24/7 drama series, and you know what? I love it. I'm all for it. The amount of crap that gets spun, it's so funny hearing it
I
all.
love it as well.
Yeah,
but I answer the question though. Yeah, I was keen for Edwards, and it's a shame. And there's also this thing that I thought of that perhaps, maybe he wasn't handling the pressure, or maybe he was trying too hard at training. I don't know, but was it a quad injury?
yeah,
That's an interesting injury to have in a build up to. Well, really, you're not doing intense cardio. You're doing shapes and things. So to get a quad injury is quite interesting. Maybe just going a bit too hard or not warmed up or something. But I actually think Teddy might do a bit better not being captain. He might be able to relax a bit and not have too much stress on him, and maybe he'll pass the ball. So hopefully we'll go all right.
I don't mind what you're saying. Honestly, I'm about to mute you for the rest of this show. You can just sit there with an awkward pause smile on your face like you have been the last 2 minutes. Edwards, like I get what you're saying there. Edwards is renowned for that, of being pretty much as full on in training as he is on the field. So it would not surprise me if that's sort of what has happened. He's just been pushing it so hard. And that has unfortunately happened to him. I feel for him because for mine, he does deserve this moment.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried if this is his time and it's now, if Tedesco does play well, I don't know if he can come back. It's going to be hard for him to drop Tedesco, because if I look at Tedesco's form this year, I don't think he's actually been that bad. And I think in the League of Interest player ratings at the moment, he's up there in like 6th or 7th at the moment. So he actually has had a pretty good season all around. He has had the 1 or 2 off games, but majority of the season actually has probably been one of his better seasons in the last 3 years or so. So look, Edwards has been the better player, but I'm just worried what this might mean for Edwards' Origin career. If this does become like a Teddy blinder, he gets a man of the match, which I can see happening on home soil, and we go on from there. Adam, yeah, I know you've been a bit of a critic of Tedesco in the past, so I don't know where this is going to go with you, but let's find out.
I'll start on the Edwards injury. I think Jason's nailed it. Like, quad injuries are usually injuries you do in the gym or you do by contact. So either he's gone too hard in the gym that when they've done that, or he's gone too hard with contact at training and it's been cleaned up. So I guess the positive of New South Wales fan is a contact injury. It means they're belting the absolute crap out of each other and they're fired up. I think Madge, when he got announced as a coach, went in a preconceived idea of who was going to pick, and he was going to pick Edwards because for me, Teddy last year wasn't great in Origin. He's been playing some really good football this year. So I was actually shocked. If he picked the team last year and it should have been picked on for me, would have picked Edwards. I actually would have picked Teddy this year because I think he did enough to keep his spot. And that's what it's about. It's not about, as we've seen for Origin over the years, it's not about who's always playing the best football over the last 3 years. It's who's got the spot. Are they playing well enough? So saying that, I think Teddy will come in and slot in okay, but I think you've nailed it as well. This is Edwards' chance to shine, and Tedesco, without the pressure on him with the captain, knowing that he almost lost something that means so much to him. Like we saw Tedesco in all the previews with the Origin jersey on and stuff and the photos and stuff and the early ads. So you know how much it means to him to play for New South Wales. I think he'll come out and absolutely kill it, and Edward won't be able to find his way back in the team, which is sad because he's been such a consistent fullback for quite a while.
Yeah, I tell you what, everyone record screen grab that because that's probably the nicest thing Adam will ever say about James Tedesco.
Oh, I didn't say.
So.
Hey, whoa. I didn't say the other reason that he's in the team as well is we know his ability to fall over into tackles. So there might be a way for Edwards to get back in as the 18th man. And if his 18th man Tedesco is a fullback, there's a chance he could play in game 2 anyway because Teddy loves to throw a pass and fall over and get hit with a high shot.
Yeah,
he ruined the game
so well.
He did ruin the game
so well.
James Tedesco and the Sydney Roosters ruined the game we love.
While we have Jason here with us, you might have to have an off-air chat with him just about some of the things you say on air and what you are or aren't allowed to say moving forward, because we would like to not get shut down anytime soon. Tyler, Jace mentioned a good point on this. Tedesco without the captaincy, so it's going to be a bit weird. It's going to feel we're used to it as New South Wales supporters, him running out. Now, Jake, definitely a different character to Tedesco. How do you see it working? Do you think it will help Tedesco continue that level that he is playing at this year?
I'm going to double down here from last week and say yet again Tedesco was the wrong choice to get picked first. He's in my opinion he's lost it. He deserved to lose the captaincy to someone who does run their heart out like Jake Trbojevic. He just seems, as Adam said, just falls into tackles, spends more time with his hands up in the air than he does actually playing on the ball, and just he doesn't seem like the right person for me anymore. He was great back when people like he was linking up with people like Blake Ferguson. They had that Roosters connection there, and I think probably that year was probably the last year that I sat down and really went, wow, Tedesco is the best fullback in this league and he deserves that New South Wales spot. I completely disagree. There is better options coming through.
Who would you have gone for your fullback? And then afterwards I'm going to throw to Goosey because I think he might hurt his neck with the amount of head shaking he's done in the last 30 seconds.
Look, Edwards was the right choice, and it's a shame that we don't get to see what he has to offer, and that we have to see, another game of.
But he's injured.
Yeah. Who are you picking now?
Of course,
you got to pick. Yeah, that's what I mean. We got to pick.
You really stuck.
Mitchell Barnett
is
Mitchell Barnett.
Can we put him in the sin bin or something?
2-minute timeout.
It's soon.
So
Who
are you going to go? Because it wasn't.
I'll come out and say it that no one else is playing well enough besides Tedesco. Drinkwater's not playing that great. He cost me multis. Gutho's just come back from an injury. Turbo's injured. Latrell's out of form and really can't play fullback at Origin. So Tedesco is the only option. If Gutherson had more games under his belt and was playing the way he was, he probably would have been there because he was in that team last year. But you can't say that, anyone else could have been picked but Tedesco, to be honest.
I understand completely.
Yeah,
everyone's sort of remarks about Tedesco when it comes to last season, but I feel like this season he has completely turned around his form. I feel like he is one of the best fullbacks in the game at the moment. I understand to a degree, people saying his rep career might be over and it's time just to focus on normal, just NRL week in, week out football. I can get that to a degree. But when it's clear he wasn't the first choice, Madge came out, he selected Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards is injured. We've got to find the next best option. I think I agree with Adam. I even think if all those were fit, I still think this season so far, going off form, Tedesco is the next man up. We're pretty lucky to have James Tedesco when you look at things to have, oh, you know what, this is our next man up. Queensland have Ponga and Walsh. We've got Tedesco and Edwards, I guess. Goosey, you were shaking your head a lot. Before we move on, I'll let you quickly just have a rebuttal. Let's hope your internet's up to us and you're not back in about a minute ago.
Fingers crossed. Nah, I think like if we're talking about captains, like I might get muted and stuff like that, but I think it should be Mitchell Barnett, wearing that number 10 jersey. But nah, so all seriousness, like I don't think Jake's the man. Like I don't think he's a man at all to make that team. Like I don't rate him at all.
What?
Like I think he's a solid player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a solid player, but I don't think like.
If he was a Queenslander, he'd be first picked in Queensland every
100%
series.
Yeah, but like he wouldn't be my
1,000,000%.
captain. No, 100% he wouldn't be the first one. 100% my first one that goes on the list is Paddy Carrigan, well over Jake Trbojevic.
But Paddy Carrigan and Gerbo are the same type of player. They just run hard, tackle hard.
Just better, bro. Like every single way that he plays is just better. He runs harder.
Whether he's better or not, it doesn't matter. It's Queensland versus New South Wales. Gerbo is literally a player that gives you that faith that anyone can play league if you run hard enough and tackle hard enough. He's been said to have the best tackling technique in the NRL. That he actually has a bullseye pinpoint at the bottom of the ball and hits that every single time he tackles. He's the best.
And he's a better bloke.
So
much better bloke.
I don't know, man. Have you seen his rants for Manly? Have you seen his rants for Manly when DCE drops his head, when Turbo drops his head? Gerbo's the one going off his nut at everyone. He's a leader. He's a leader, and I think he's definitely the right choice. When everyone's buggered and it's Origin and there's 10 minutes to go and Queensland do their usual fucking some dickhead will do a chip and chase or whatever.
Up by 30
Jake
points.
is the one that's going to pick the team up and say, "Come on, boys, keep going." You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
We'll see on Wednesday. We'll see.
I just want to touch on this late. I know we're having an Origin chat just on this leadership thing while we're talking Origin. They reckon Nico Hines has really stepped it up in Origin camp this year and taken on as a leadership role, which is great to see because I think it's one thing that he's lacked at Cronulla that's led to Cronulla's disappointing finishes to the season in the last couple of years. So to see he's brought that into camp will be huge for New South Wales, but could be if Cronulla can start playing football again, could be good come the back end of the year as well.
I was waiting for a joke there. I thought that wasn't a serious comment by you, so I was straight that very, very jokingly. Then you kept going seriously. I was like, oh, hang on, I better go into serious mode here. But you know what? That is it for Origin, guys. We want to save the rest for the Origin show. That's it. That point went for a lot longer than I thought it would, but it was great because a good host just lets people don't want to have a bit of a biff. We have a bit of biff at this time of year. Tensions are fired up, and a Queenslander trying to tell us New South Welshmen what to do with our team. Go and get stuffed.
Goosey's so nice here.
I don't care what you do.
He acts so tough here, but at Magic Round, he's like, "Hey, bro, how are you, bro?" Like, yeah,
he's a good boy.
How would you know, G? You're off your face, bro. You're off your face, bro.
No, was it? I was
you
just
don't even know, G. You didn't even know.
I knew that.
Adam was off his face. I don't know how he remembers anything.
I was sober on Sunday.
Well, stop it. He actually was. I
wish I was off my face watching Parramatta.
Yes.
The
one with the Para jersey on Tyler, I'm going to you here. Has Para turned the corner? A win against the Sharkies on Thursday night. It feels like a lifetime ago now. It's been a lot happened since then. Have they turned the corner? Are they on the march now? I'm not going to say top 8 yet, but have they just turned that corner to start playing some better footy?
I gave the boys a pretty good spray from the Rabbitohs game. And from my point of view, I would say let's not jump the gun. With this new revelation of this Simonson injury, we could be in serious shit. He has been one of the more consistent back four, and that could seriously derail some of our momentum, depending on depending on who we put in there. Russell is definitely a better centre. Blaze, I just feel like he's too little for the wing just for now. He can bulk up and he can do a job in there if need be. It's a shame that we do have a lot of injuries there because we do have people like Hayes Dunster and Arthur Miller-Stevens still on the brink of that and have had a few chances at first grade, but others seem to get injured or whoever they were replacing comes back up into the starting squad one way or another. But I just don't want us fans to jump the gun yet. But it was promising signs on the weekend.
I believe it's no panic stations at all because all we're going to do is duplicate Micah Sevo. So we're going to have two Sevos on the weekend. So it's going to be all good there. One thing I want to touch on quickly, and Jace might back me up here. We met Blaze on the weekend, and I was with you with this comment here, Tyler, about the size thing. I was actually taken away a bit by he's actually quite a decent size. Like on TV, it does look like he's a bit smaller, but in person, he's got a bit of beef about him. And it looks like he's only going to get a bit bigger over the next year or two. He's going to be a handful. He's going to be a real handful. Jace, do you think Parra turned the corner? Or you're going to tread a little bit cautiously like Tyler?
Well, first I'll say this is Goosey's chance to have a go at Parra because he think he didn't have a chance. So this is your chance, bro. But yeah, look, Blaze is a big boy. I think the first thing I said to you was, I reckon he could play 13. Like he's actually decent size. But I'm with Tyler. I don't want to jump on the we can do the 2009 run just yet because that is a magic run. And that was a Jared Hayne that you've never seen before and never will see again. That got us there. You know, I think we have to win at least 8 games, 13 plus. And if we win 9 games, then that becomes like a 12 plus, and because our for and against is horrible. So yes, we can win 8 or 9 games, but we've got Roosters twice, we've got Melbourne, we've got Penrith. So there are a lot of tough games in there. So I don't want to get too much hope. It could be like we did last year, or where we miss out by a game or two. But yeah, look, it's looking good. Moses looks amazing. He had a great game. Gutho, if he can keep up that intensity, we definitely can be dangerous and be a threat for the top 8. But look, yeah, losing Simo, look, that could be good or bad because maybe Blaze can go to the wing because I think that's where he should be being blooded. You know, the way that he comes out from the back when he was playing fullback, he would break tackles and line breaks at ease. You know, so coming off the wing, I think will be beneficial for us. Whether or not that helps or doesn't, I don't know yet. But look, we just have to go one game at a time. Next is Doggies. They're playing quite well. Let's just hope that everything works out. We could lose Mitch to Origin. I don't know. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to finish the year strong, and let's just see how it goes.
Goosey, stop your little smirks. I could see you ready to just go, but you can pipe down another couple of minutes, please. Adam, talk about the 09 run. I know you're very excited about the thought of that style of run at the moment. Are you a bit more optimistic about what you're seeing on Thursday night, or you're got the cautious sign up still?
I'm not really being cautious. It just comes down to luck and injuries a bit of the way as well. Look, we could have been 3 from 3 without when Mitch was there. We generally look like we're going to be a top 8, if not a top 4 team when Moses is on the field. Obviously wins against the Dogs. Unlucky against Penrith due to the Bailey concussion and the reshuffle that cost us nearly all our points. And then come back from behind against Manly and we lose Mitch. So obviously massive having him back, and it was, we were like a different team. His kicking game, his first kick of the game, he lands half a metre out from the line, puts us on the front foot straight away. And all of a sudden, our forwards aren't having to do as much work. Junior and Reg looked completely different players. On off and Gowie as well. Lane off the bench was completely different. He wasn't great, but he was completely different. And playing in that middle role, not having to think as he was told, which obviously is not a very smart man, as the comments went in the press conference. But look, completely different team. Can they go on a run? And hands made a massive difference to quickness. But that come down to our play the ball speed was the quickest it's been since I think round 5 in 2022 or something like that. Some ridiculous stat. So it showed that with Mitch there on getting on the back foot with the kicking game, putting our team on the back foot and getting a roll on how much better we were. Just on the Bailey one straight away, same thing. Like he's been probably our most consistent back for the last 7-8 weeks, I'd say. How long he's been in that team after he come back from that head knock. And we're obviously going to miss him, but it does open up that door. I put Blaze straight in there. I'm also, if I'm Parramatta, I'm doing absolutely everything I can to get Zach Lomax across for the rest of the year after Origin. It's as simple as that. Doing everything I can move in. Doesn't kind of matter what we offer them. We've got players we've already told aren't required next season. I'm getting rid of one of them or two of them straight away to St. George. St. George are in with a chance of playing finals football, so they're going to want to bulk up what they can. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing there. Like I said, that comes down to a fair bit of luck. Injuries can come into it. I'm not worried about the draw because at the end of the day, if you're going to play finals football, you've got to beat those teams anyway. And we did it in 2009. We beat those teams on our run. We're only one win away from the Warriors now, who've had a pretty easy run as well. Sorry, Goosey, that was a joke.
That little dig at the end.
There's a little bit to start to just poke him. Look, I'm stepping in just a little bit cautious just because I feel like we've sort of done ourselves in the arse a bit. And like sort of Adam mentioned, the injuries and stuff, you can't predict. We seem to just not been able to escape that so far this year. And you don't want to be chasing your tail, relying on results and things like that, and relying on a fully fit roster and a side. That's when things for mine just start to get a little bit dicey. So I'm not looking too far ahead. I just still think there's a number of teams that look a lot better than we do. Like we've got the Dogs on the weekend coming up, and I can't fault the Dogs at the moment. We are going to talk about them shortly. I've been so impressed by them the last couple of weeks, and their defense is so much better than our defense at the moment. So that's a real sort of that's a game that I'm very cautious about. Special shout out to Offahan Gowie. Now, being at the game and being right next to the playing bench, he rode that last 3 minutes on the sideline like if he was riding the Melbourne Cup winner. He was so into it. It was so good to see our players, and I've been questioning this for a while now, show some genuine passion. He was making sure everything and everyone was turning up, was keeping their eye on things, and he would not sit down. Everyone else was on the bench sitting down, so I don't know who was on the bench at the time, but he was up, he was riding it. He was like the assistant coach. It was great to see. But Goosey, you have the last say on this. Be careful where you go.
Before you go to Goosey, just be careful, right? Like I can see there's a bit of passion burning here. Just don't light one of your little cute candles in the background and fire up too much, okay?
Okay. Anything for you, princess. But nah, honestly, I'm thinking like if Micah Sivo stays fit and he's scoring the tries, like if you don't win the minor premiership, like it's embarrassing, you know?
I think it's like impossible already for us to win the minor premiership, by the way. But that's all right.
Exactly, that's where I'm getting to. But no, all seriousness, like you bring up like you're one win away from the Warriors, but back in round 7 you lost to the Dolphins by 28 points at home. That's embarrassing. You could say you didn't have Mitchell Moses.
At home,
Shush. You could say you didn't have Mitchell Moses, but we also didn't have 11 first-team players last week. So we'll just ignore Adam's point about the Warriors. We'll just move on from that. But
before Goosey goes, I've got one more thing to say, Goosey. I'm just going to make a little on-air bet right here. I'll put a carton with you that Parramatta finish above the Warriors this year. You got a 3-point head start.
Okay, deal. Check it on the camera, G. I don't know. Where is it? Done. I don't mind.
Gentleman's agreement.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, we should.
Yeah, we did. I ain't scared. Honestly,
it's live.
All I'm saying is
gamble responsibly.
Yeah, no. Like honestly, we're not talking about carton of alcohol. It's a carton of water, obviously. But like, let's be real, right? So Mitchell Moses, 100%. He's gone Origin game 2 and 3. Like the game that he played, he was amazing. Like he's definitely going to go play for the Blues. So then you're playing what? How many games? He'll miss what? 2 games?
One game.
One game. Yeah, and you lost that game. So like you lost it. So like let's just move on from that. So like he's not playing there. You lost that game. Then when he goes to the Blues, you lost the Blues game because Queensland are winning. So like at the end of the day, like you got to try and keep him there. But he's gone, so you just lose. So it's just a lose-lose for all you fans. Like that's
well
all I gotta
done.
say.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your thoughts on this matter.
Can I highlight that one game?
No, like still the wooden
That
spoon.
one-
Wooden spoon. Oh,
The one games against the Titans still have. You think Fafita would work his way in the team by then, surely.
I'll be at that game.
Booker's playing
Look
at
out.
5'8".
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Got to box that game. Bucks party. Look out.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
look out. This is Adam's. Basically for Adam, this next talking point, we're all going to sit back, relax, and let Adam go on this wonderful ride that he's about to embark on. Please don't get lost on the way, Adam. Let's just see where you end up.
I just read it.
Where
I just read
to
it.
for the Newcastle Knights? Jezzy's not on tonight. I don't know if Jesse's on for the week because I'm not sure if he's in for the Origin preview show. He might be in. We're going to do a special review show straight after the game. I think at this point he said he's keen for that show, but by then he'll be probably a few beers deep and he'll forget about what you said tonight. So let's see what you've got. Fire away.
That's why I say
And
by
Goose,
Goose. He's just got to put some. He's got to put some salts in the air to go with his candles. He's really manning that room up. Look, where do I go? Where do the Knights go? Look, they're pretty lucky. They went on that bit of a run against teams struggling in form. We all know they shouldn't have beat the Titans at Magic Round. They got very lucky there with a terrible referee decision, bunker decision. They beat the Tigers. They beat the Dolphins with a reserve grade team in. They've won 2 games because of wet weather conditions against the Dragons. And who was the other one? The Warriors. They beat the Warriors because of conditions. And they beat a Melbourne team that was really struggling with injuries at the time and had both their halves out. So they're lucky to have the wins they've got. I stand by what I said at the start of the year. Their halves still aren't first grade standard. They're still reserve grade standard halves. Shout out to Jackson if you're watching. I'll see you at Rebel at Charlestown next time you want to give me a deaths there. Where to go from here? Look, I think they got exposed a little bit for... I want to tread carefully here, but they missed Ponga's experience at fullback on the weekend, even though they seem to be playing better football with a young, inexperienced fullback there. That got exposed when he got put under a little bit of pressure and teams started to work him out. Their halves aren't good enough. They need to bring in Will Price from reserve grade. He's absolutely killing it in reserve grade. Their forward pack are a bunch of cats. That was exposed once again. They're not up to it anymore. Their hardest worker was probably Tyson Frizzell, who's aging quite rapidly and still worked his ass off. So they need to have a good hard look at themselves because, honestly, they look like a reserve grade standard team, just like their halves. And, yeah, I can't see them. I'll see them struggling to win another. If they come back and beat Parramatta, it's going to be fucking funny now. But I honestly see them struggling to win another game until Ponga comes back if they keep the same team. And that's as fair as I can put it.
That is a very, very fair response by you, considering it's the Newcastle Knights and where I thought you could have easily taken that. So I don't think you'll be getting an aggressive phone call from Jez. I reckon he'll respect that views and probably he would have done a worse one if he was on tonight. I agree wholeheartedly with the halves side of things. I think I've said for a while now, I don't think I'm sort of echoing your thoughts. They're not working at all together. And I don't know what the obsession is with not just the Knights, but multiple teams have done this year with mixing their 6s and 7s and playing in different jerseys. Like it's a set number. It's a set position for mine. Let them play that. Cogger for mine is a halfback. He plays his best when he gets to control the team fully by himself and has a running 5'8" with him. Let him do that. Him and Hastings just butt heads literally constantly. We've seen it. Even when they were winning, they were constantly butting heads and it just wasn't working for him. Have Cogger at 7, have Will Price as your running 6 and just being that bit of excitement, especially while Ponga's out. They need that at the moment. And I reckon their attack will go back up to at least another level. I don't know if it'll get to a level that they need it to get to, but at least continue to improve. Jace, have you seen much from the Knights? And it was diabolical on the weekend. If we've got to put it bluntly, 2 points against the Dogs. The Dogs were on fire, but where to now for the Knights? Can you see them actually improving, or you're a bit worried for their season from
Well,
here?
I think like Adam said it, they were working well with the young rookie, was it Thompson at the back. But teams have figured him out now, and he had a shocker of a game, not just in defense, also in attack. There were many shapes and many runs that he made where usually he might step or put on a good pass, and he just hesitated. And those times he was hesitating, and the play broke down completely. So I'm not sure if it's one of those situations where the halves are clashing, and it's the confidence of the other players are going down a bit as well. But he had a horrible game, and it was because he was hesitating, and he wasn't doing that. Like you see some of his other games, he was jumping up and in one stride, catching the ball, and then running off it and taking a step. And you're like, this guy's he's full of confidence, and all of a sudden it's gone. So it could be one of those situations like a Hastings and a Cogger. They're both sevens and they're clashing, and they're both calling for the ball and nobody knows who to pass it to type thing, because their attack was absolutely horrendous. They had 20 minutes against 12 players and could not put on a simple through the hands, for the overlap. So I don't know what's going on with them, but it could be. I always go back to what I know about Paris struggles, and it could be a 2018 type thing where the halves are just not getting along on the field, and they need to make a change there. That could possibly assist. Their forwards didn't really aim up as well, and the doggies were just great. I mean, they defended. There was the overlap, and Preston put on a great tackle and try-saving tackle, and I think that was an absolute game changer, because the Knights their heads just went down after that, and the Dogs were fired up. So, look, as much as the Knights were playing badly, the Dogs played really, really well. So that probably contributed to it as well.
Preston was a great trade-in for my Supercoach team this weekend as well. So shout out to you, Jacob. I'll buy you a beer next time I see you. Goosey, I think it's fair to say you should be nice to the Newcastle Knights here. I want you to give them some kind of positivity if you can, because just remember, they did let you sign Mitch Barnett. So just be nice.
Well, I have to be double nice because they did beat us a couple of weeks ago, and we did sign the GOAT Mitchell Barnett. But I apologize for leaving before, but I did have to go get a prop. It's the closest thing I have to a wooden spoon, and that's what the Knights are getting. As Jace was saying, bro, they conceded 32 unanswered points against 2 sin bins. The Bulldogs had 2 sin bins. Yeah, the Bulldogs played amazing, but like at the end of the day, like you got to be scoring more than 2 points against 12 men for 20 minutes. Like you're an NRL team, man. You're not New South Wales Cup or your local footy on the sideline. You know what I mean? Like you got to be scoring.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you must just be sitting there going, "What is going on tonight with the boys?" But
should we all have a bit of a musical?
Yeah, I feel like everyone's just going to get props and coming back. We're not a play, guys. We're not a musical. Let's talk some footy here, Tyler.
The Knights.
Try and get me back on. I don't know what the hell Adam's doing, but what are you?
I'm with you, Goosey. I love you, bro. I never said a bad thing about you.
Yes.
Podcast listeners, they've both just got wooden spoons in their hand, waving around like it's a toy from their adult collection. Tyler, talk to me. The Newcastle Knights. Can you give them some positivity, or you're gonna?
I need to get another prop.
Double down here.
Look, I've been sitting on this from when they've played. I don't know whether you would have seen a few weeks ago, Brad Arthur said he's not done coaching the NRL. I don't know whether Newcastle have put him behind the scenes, because taking those 2 points at the start of the game is the loser Brad Arthur mentality. That is what that is, and it shits me to tears when teams have 12 players on 13 and decide, yes, let's go for the 2. It is an absolute travesty. It is a joke that the Newcastle Knights had zero confidence coming in against the Bulldogs. I understand that the Bulldogs have been playing well, but Newcastle, if they've come in with this mentality, which I think they did at the start of the game, and gone, okay, they've got Burton out and Kickow out. That's 2 of their big kind of 4 or 5. And they've gone, okay, we're going to roll over them. This is fine. Armstrong got very unlucky this game. It was very concerning to see
arms
him
weak.
have 3.
Sorry.
It was concerning to have. It was concerning for him to have 3 errors. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there.
Yeah,
a
it's
bit, Adam.
because Goosey's fucking you around, mate. Look at him. He's got a nice jersey.
Goosey, how old are you, Goosey? Can you let the listeners know, because you're acting like an absolute child tonight?
He's
It's
a
past your
classic.
bedtime.
He's a classic Kiwi. He's got about 6 teams.
No, I only have this. I only have this because of Kalen Pong, and that's it. So
Oh, here we
okay.
go. I love,
It's like
love
a-
it, Kalen.
it's just- yeah.
The New Zealand Kiwi. I mean, the New Zealand Queensland Kiwi, whatever he is.
Tyler, I just want to let you know, you've been here for what, 2 weeks now. You've got more people on your hit list than I think any of us have combined on the podcast. And the podcast has been running for about 2 years now. So you're on fire. You are absolutely, that Brad Arthur comment, that'll go down as one of the all-time greats. So
That's quality.
And that's not to say that Arthur didn't do a good job with us. Thanks, Brad, for all your
He was
service.
shit coach.
I just
It's
want
too
to
late now.
get that out
It's
there.
too. You're not.
But
Hey,
that
Tyler,
was the
Tyler, this is what you
mentality.
need to say. You need to say, I do not say anything bad about the Parramatta Eels.
Yeah.
They are a great club. I love them.
Adam,
You
need
did
to
not
go
want the
back and
phone
watch
call.
last week, man.
You did not want the phone call.
He went
Simple.
he went off. He went off. All right, let's just relieve Jez. He'll be listening somewhere. I'm sorry, Jez, but we had
We
to
love
talk
you,
about
Jez.
your Newcastle Knights after
We love
the
you.
weekends. And I know Jez wasn't happy. I'll let you
We
guys know
love
now. He had
Jez.
to.
We love
he-
Jez.
he-
We love Jez.
He left early on the weekend and he was not happy. I'll tell you that much. Here we go. The Bulldogs. Then they were the opposite of the Newcastle Knights. They were awesome. That was a great performance by the Bulldogs. 2 players in the sin bin at different points of the game. So that 20 minutes where they were down a player, and they ended up putting 32 points on the Newcastle Knights, who the Knights were horrible, but I also think the Dogs had a play in that because their defense was just so good all night. They're up in their faces constantly. Their attack was clicking, even though they had a couple of their key players out that contribute to that. They lost to Fox early-ish on in that game as well as a strike winger for them, who love those sorts of games, picking on the weaker opposition. It was just, it made me sit back and go, oh, it's time to start respecting the Bulldogs a bit more. That they are turning in the corner. We all bagged them for their recruitment at the start of the year. They were getting all of these number 14s in, all these utility players. But I've got to give them credit. It's working so far. There's a lot of these players like your Simmons and your Kurt Manns that have actually stepped up and done a job. So, Tyler, you know what? Go back to back. Off you go. What do you think of the Dogs?
It's about time. It is about time that they finally started clicking together. It was only a matter of time until Uncle Gus's wallet started producing results. And
Will they make
you
the
know,
8 as well? Sorry, will they make the 8?
Will they make the 8? If they do, they won't make it far. They don't have this mentality as of yet. I understand that they've just decided that going and signing half of the Penrith team is the way to go. And look, it has worked for them this year so far. However, they seem to keep on getting injuries. So I don't know whether they will just get possibly pipped by an outsider such as, and I hate to say it, if the Warriors can get back to full strength, I can see them seriously coming back up. As much as that pains me to say, and even even the Dragons, if they can go on a bit of a run, then I can see them possibly pipping the Bulldogs after a spell of a few bad games.
Guys, if you are listening to this, please hear me out. Don't send your hate mail to the League of Inches inboxes, please. I'll pop Tyler's details up on my story afterwards and just go straight to him, please. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm all good. Bulldogs fans, you're doing great things. Goosey, before you walk off again and get another prop, who knows what's the next prop you'll get? Let us know if you think the Dogs will make the 8.
Honestly, I don't see a reason why they can't make the 8. If the form that they're in at the moment, sorry, Adam's just gone off to get another prop. The form that they're in at the moment and the way that they're playing, as long as their team stays healthy, I don't see I agree with Tyler. I think they'll make the 8, but I don't think they'll go far in the finals. I agree with that point, but but they do have a free win next week. They are versing the Eels, so that's a good. Is that Reed Marnie? Is that Reed
Yeah,
Marnie?
don't headbutt me.
Reed's joined the podcast for those listening. So he has joined. We'll get to him shortly. But Chase, before we get to Reed Marnie, I just want to ask you: will the Dogs make the 8?
Well, I wanted to talk about Reed Marnie as well. I don't think the Dogs will make the 8. They're looking a lot better. Don't get me wrong. And as a paratragic growing up in Sydney, we are sworn to hate 4 teams: the Dogs, Manly, Penrith, and Melbourne. So I hate the Dogs, but they are doing well, and I hate to see them doing well. But I think they would be just shy of the 8. I think it's because of their injuries. I think Fox is gone for another 8 weeks or so as well. They're going to be missing Crichton, Burton through Origin. I'm not sure when Kikau is back, another 4 or 6 weeks. So I think that's going to get to them, losing their big stars, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a Reed Marnie show now, and I actually wanted to say, is Reed Marnie the new Ennis, or is he worse than Ennis?
Before we get to Reed, aka Adam Martin, I'm going to give Reed some credit here because he is clearly getting under his players' skins, and teams know it's happening now, and they're still biting. They're still going, and he's just achieving everything he's trying to set out to achieve. So credit to you, Reed. You are one of those punchable faces. I think everyone in the game wants to have a crack at you, but they basically can't. So, Feedy, I just want to talk to you right now personally. I hope you're listening to this, because if you're going to do something and go out of your way, you're so lucky you didn't get suspended. That's going to be another talking point for another show. You're so lucky you did not get. I don't know how you didn't get suspended, but at least deck him. Yeah. Do something that everyone wanted you to do, and at least put one on his chin. That was the worst choice you could have done. I still don't know how you didn't get suspended. But Reed, come in.
Would have been worth it.
Here you go,
nice
boys.
to see you.
It's Reed here.
Why'd you leave for 50K, you Gronk?
The doggies gave me a hotel.
Gave you shares in the hotel.
I just want to say no one's respecting what we're doing this year.
Is that you, Buzz Rossfield?
I don't know.
It's trying to be really funny.
It's fucking terrible. Reed does have a funny fucking little gimpy voice, may I add. But I'm back to.
Oh, cover the trim.
Adam's
back. Fix my hair. Yeah. No, shit.
Yeah. Put that
Mine
back on.
looks
Put
better
that back
now.
on. Put it back on.
I can't find the right spot. Shit. All right.
She said.
Can I change my name? Can you come back to me?
Oh, this podcast is going down as one of the greats. Seriously.
Now.
What have you
Honestly,
newbies done to us? We've just gone.
What I'll touch on is Reed. First of all, he's had to leave, so
Thanks, Reed.
To go start a fight with someone's dog down the road. But I think the Dogs. I don't know why we're talking about them. Like, they're not coming fourth. Everyone's out in the media talking about them and stuff. They're still coming fucking ninth. They haven't done that much. They've literally won 6 games. No chance. They're not going to make the 8. I'll go through who they've beat, right? They got beat by us. They got beat by Cronulla. They beat the Gold Coast without all their players in round 3 who were terrible. They got beat by South Sydney. They beat the Roosters, who had 12 men, by 4 points and almost choked up a 24-point lead or 26-point lead, whatever it was. They just got beat by Melbourne. They've beaten Newcastle twice. They've beaten the Tigers. They've been beaten by Penrith, beaten by Canberra, and beaten St. George. So look who they've beat. They've beaten absolutely no one for their 6 wins. They've beaten Newcastle twice. They've beaten St. George, who suck and very inconsistent. They beat the Tigers, who were coming second last, and they beat the Gold Coast Titans and the Roosters, who were terrible. So really, they've won 5 games that most teams that are going to sit in that 1 to 12 spot are going to win.
Yeah,
their halves, yeah. Well, we'll beat them on Monday next week. But their halves aren't good enough. It's as simple as that. They're not first grade standard halves. Burton's not a 5'8". I know, I've got to think for halves, Burton's not a 5'8" still. We all know that. Their fullback, Connor Tracy, was reserve grader at Cronulla last year. If they want to move Kires to fullback, I think he showed all the potential there. they're literally on the back of Reed and playing in some lucky conditions. They played smart football on the weekend, don't get me wrong, in the wet conditions, but no, they're nowhere near finals football. They'll be exposed next week. Reed's still got a dodgy shoulder, and he'll get exposed once again. Once Parramatta expose him this week, he won't be able to be lippy because every other team is going to do the exact same thing for him to the back end of the year, which means that they will absolutely struggle because he'll be out of it in attack as well. Mark my
And
words.
Bulldogs fans, I'll also feature Adam Martin's details on our Facebook story as well.
please.
So, I
I'll be
don't.
there. I'll be there next Monday, Bulldogs fans. If you want some, come get some.
Look,
My name is
I
Troy.
don't think. I think you'll just miss the 8. I do think you're turning the corner, though. I do think there's a lot to like about how you're playing at the moment, and I'll give you a lot more credit than Adam's giving you because I know a lot of the top teams have actually lost to one or two of those teams as well. So you got to turn up, you got to beat what's in front of you, and there has been teams above you that haven't been able to beat some of those opposition either. So I'll give you some respect. You've earned a little bit. I know I'm a Para fan, and that is very hard to say. Like Jace has actually explained a bit earlier, but you've earned a little bit of my respect. So last one, boys, and last one. Reed's quickly come back. He's got a blood nose. He's got a bite mark on his face as well from that dog, but that's all right. Push on next week, Reed. You're good. No late outs against the Eels. RCG will be all over you, by the way. Controversial finish. The Finns and the Raiders game, boys. I said at the start of this podcast that I really enjoyed the game. I thought as the game went on, it got better, and I think it's going to be up there at the moment for one of the games of the season. Sort of had me on the edge of the seat for a lot of that. There was to argue maybe the quality wasn't complete there at times, but Rapana just summed that game up. He was so rocks and diamonds. He was making terrible errors at some points. Then he was kicking a field goal after field goal. He was everywhere. I want to talk about the way that this finished. So we've seen the penalty. Jermaine Asako, the first chance that they get down there, kicks it, sails over the post, and the referee rules a penalty for Max Plath apparently interfering. Now, what I want to say on this bit is that I've watched this a million times. I reckon he's actually tried to get out of the way and has been penalised for something because he's slightly the player. I watched the player's reaction as well. He doesn't get interrupted. He doesn't change his speed once he goes past the Max Plath either. Like, it's not like Max Plath held onto him. Then I went and watched the Joe Tapney one. He has literally held on to the player who is about to get up from a marker and put pressure on. And we're just okay to. As a game, this is ridiculous because this is now going to cost the Dolphins, who are in the top 8 fight at the moment, 2 points. That could be crucial. That could be crucial for them to be in or out of this top 8 by the end of the year. We could be looking back at this game and going, oh, if they got that 2 points that they should have probably got, that gets them in the 8. And that's huge for their second season in the NRL. That would have been huge for them and their supporter base that's there at the moment. Boys, I'm wondering who to start with this time. I might go Goosey. Goosey can kick us off. What about the finish? What are your thoughts regarding this? Because I think the Dolphins were robbed. Wayne Bennett was probably said the most he's ever said in a press conference regarding it, saying you could see he was clearly frustrated. Old Wayne, I thought he was going to, I don't know, do something, but I thought he was going to get up and just start swinging at one point in that press conference. Let us know. What were your thoughts on that? Was the Dolphins hard done by, or the Raiders deserved it?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins were definitely hard done by. Like, all the jokes aside, like Rapana is the best player in the league, but we can talk about that another day. But no, I'm kidding. I actually hate him, but like that Max Plath penalty was like a sack of shit. Like, that is the weakest thing I've ever seen. Like, the commentators going on about, oh yeah, they're trying to like watch out for it, blah blah. They're being harsh on it. He hardly even touched him, bro. Like, yeah, maybe he took one step to the right. Did he even bump him? Like, nah. And then as you were saying, Joel, before the next one after that with the Tapani one, how he's fully on grabbing on Jeremy Marshall King. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like we all talk about, like, we want consistency. Like, the refs need to be more consistent. Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. The Finns were definitely hard done by. And just once again, like, I'm not trying, like, I love the rest and everything, but like, sort your shit out, man.
Tyler's got. I just finally read your headline. It's taking me all episode. I don't know why I didn't. So I'm going to go to you last. I feel like you're going to end the show with a bang. Adam, don't be too disappointed, Tyler. I know you're ready to go. Just it's all good. Adam, the Dolphins robbed or what?
Yeah, look, it's pretty clear, isn't it? But I just want to know why they weren't allowed to challenge it. They tried to challenge it. Like, if they're not allowed to challenge it, shouldn't they? Didn't run out. He ran straight up, and the referee literally went to his earpiece like he was checking something.
No,
said, end of
I think
game.
they already used it.
Yeah,
they used it.
they
read it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
But
but
the
for
thing
all,
is,
that's
that's a game deciding thing. That should just
be checked by the
video
bunker.
ref should be able to look.
Automatic.
Yeah, 100%.
Should we, like, I know referees are scared to call things in the last few minutes, but obviously in the NFL, anything in the last 2 minutes of a game is automatically reviewed. Could we be doing that no matter what, like in golden points? So any try or any field goal, whatever, should be automatically. I know we're saying we don't want stoppage, don't want to slow the game down, but we don't want fuck ups that we're talking about for weeks either. So as you said, it can cost a team their season later in the year. I think everything in golden point, whether a try, should be being checked by the bunker. And who cares how long it takes? The players are going that extra 10 minutes. They deserve the break. They just played 80 minutes. They're playing an extra 10 minutes. Give them the break. Check it. No one's going to whinge because then you don't get errors like this. It's as simple as that. And Graham will come out and apologise tomorrow that he got it wrong, by the way. But it means fucking nothing. And you're right about Wayne too.
From Wayne. He reckons he wasn't going to go. Yeah, he reckons he wasn't going to chase him up. I 100% reckon after that press conference, he went straight to his phone. He would have called Graham and he would have abused the shit out of him. 100%.
He was that angry. South Sydney were worried they're going to have to pick him up from the Riggin cardiac ward at bloody Sunshine Coast Private Hospital. That's how angry he looked. A 3-year deal wasn't looking very good, was it?
The most emotions we've seen from Wayne in a long time. Jace, you were pretty boisterous in this in the chat as well. So I don't think you were too happy with especially the Max Plath penalty. You were pretty outraged by this.
Yeah. As Wayne Bennett said, he'll leave it for Graham Annesley to let us know all the mistakes that they made in the game. And that's exactly right. Because Max Plath does not step right. He steps left and back. He steps out of the way. I was absolutely gobsmacked when he says he changed his line. Yeah, he fucking changed his line to get out of the fucking way, you idiot. Like, this was ridiculous for me. Like, he literally steps that way. So I know this is reversed, but like he is stepping to his left and back. So he's literally giving the chaser more room. It's just mind-boggling. That was just mind-boggling. Now, that has probably cost them the game, but the Dolphins did get another 2 chances, which they messed up. Yeah. And then how come that's called, but then Tarpany can grab onto a marker and slow a marker down for the chase? So what's happening here? Are we the refs just wanting to call something because they get told by the bunker and they're trying to be brave, or are they trying to give teams an upper hand? Because that seems very, very suspicious. Because Max, like, he steps out of the way. How can you call that? That just doesn't make any sense. Like,
it needs to be an investigation.
Yeah, 100%. I'll go Jeff.
Getting there.
I'll go Jeff Tuvey. I'll start going red. Like that, there's got to be an investigation to that. Because if one is a penalty, then surely the other's a penalty. Because it's both about obstructing the player, and how come one person who steps out of the way is obstructing, but another person who grabs onto the play is not obstructing? But I don't know. Graham Annesley will tell us all the mistakes tomorrow, like Wayne Bennett said, and we'll all just have to just go, yeah, and move on, and then the Dolphins season might be ruined. Who knows?
Tyler, please do not get us suspended. Please make sure League of Inches kicks on.
One day I'd like us to actually have a sponsor, just not anywhere from Canberra.
Canberra Milk, shout out.
Yeah, I do quite like their jerseys, and that's about the only thing I like about them. The refereeing decision is unbelievable. As Jay said, the Plath penalty it's beyond me how that is a penalty, and holding onto the marker and slowing him down is not. it's like they make it up play by play. I did a bit of, I've had friends that have done junior refereeing in their time, and it's hard having players coming from you left, right, and center telling you what the call is, especially in the NRL. You get these big boys coming at you that are, twice your size, and you go, "Oh, I probably should listen to you," or "I probably shouldn't walk out in the car park alone." But it's hard to be a ref, and I understand that there are mistakes, but this is a mistake that cannot go unnoticed.
Most
This can't
referees
be
were
another-
mistakes.
This
Oh my god, Joe.
Hey,
This-
by the way, the legal team clears that. It's all good.
I'm glad I got you tonight, Jace. I really need you tonight. Goodness me, you boys are off chops tonight. Goodness me.
Oh god. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, this can't be something that goes under the radar. Again, we had the Brian Kelly try a few weeks ago, and I hate to keep bringing that back up, but that was a joke, and I don't even know what the deal with that was. I don't know whether they came in and apologized for it, or whether they actually said it was the right call. It wouldn't shock me if they said they got that right. But it's
just
really
on the cliche we'll all hear from all the refs, not the coaches in the media and stuff, will be, "Oh, it goes around full circle." Like, blah, blah. No, I don't care about that. It's like, we should not be getting these things wrong. Like, don't hit me with the, "Oh, it goes full circle. We'll get a bad call today, then we'll get a good call in a couple." No, get the referees to have some accountability and start getting these things right, because it's just, you've already mentioned the Titans game the other week. That's 2 games already where it's 2 competition points. Like, these are coaches with their careers at stake, teams and supporters with their finals aspirations at stake. It's not good enough. To let us out here, Tolly, I just want to ask you also, Rapana's game. What did you think of Rapana's game?
Oh,
as much as I hate the bloke, he actually did have a semi-decent game. And
get me a
like,
semi.
I seriously don't think there was a better person to get 2 drop kicks. The drop kick at the drop kick is just fairy tale at its finest. But seriously, I don't know who they have next week. I'd love to see. Bear with me for 2 seconds.
We got the bye.
They've got the bye.
Bye.
Whoever they've got next,
Easy. They're gonna smack him.
whoever their biggest player, Cowboys, Tamalolo, please just aim for the neck and above. I would love to just see him get his.
He's
Can I say-
legit
can I-
the most skillful player I've ever met. Not met, but I've ever watched. He's just, I don't know, there's something about him that just makes me feel like he's horrible, but he's so good at the
just
same
drowsy.
time. It's
Yeah.
just,
I'm surprised the
He's
bloke
very-
actually won the race when he was a sperm. He's that uncoordinated, but he got there and he got the job
Oh
done.
my
Um,
god, Adam, bro.
can I just?
Jace, is
can I
that clear
say-
or what?
Yeah, I'll clear that as well. That's all good. That's all good.
Can I say one more
Oh.
serious thing before we finish tonight?
No.
I don't know when I'm going to be. I don't know when I'm going to be on
Yeah.
again, if I am allowed on again. So I just want to touch on. Obviously, I'm wearing the Mark Hughes beanie. It's not this weekend, but the weekend after. So it'll be round 15. So the game's on the 13th of June to the 16th of June. So you can get them online. You can get to IJ. You can get to anything that's the same as IJ in Queensland, whatever that is. I guess Lovey's or
we got
Richie's or
IGA.
whatever it is.
We got that.
Oh, cool. Have you got Lowe's? You got Lowe's? Because you can get them at Lowe's
Yeah,
as
we got-
well. So get to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not many around,
$25.
but we do.
The women's one is absolutely sick as well. It's not just made for women's. Obviously, we don't see genders in 2024. I noted in the photo that Kalen Pong is wearing the female one, so we definitely don't see genders. So you can buy whichever one you want. $25.
Why are
please
you
stop?
saying that?
Literally. No, but really, it's a great cause. So get out and get your beanies and wear them to round 15.
Oh, guys, honestly, I just need to end this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I don't know where to go from this. I don't know what to say. As I said, the next couple of days, there's a lot of Origin stuff coming out with the page. We're obviously getting fired up with it. So please join us tonight when you're listening to this. So Monday night, about the 8:30 mark, there'll be a post to confirm, and we'll be just spitting it. We'll be going head-to-head Origin battle, seeing how it goes. Boys, thank you. I'm not letting any of you talk again because we're just done. Jason actually had a week off this week, but he now has a full week because of this podcast. So thanks, boys.
Can we
You just
finish?
put
Can we finish with
After
Goosey
Zeza.
necking one of the Necky? A
No,
goosey
no,
neck
no,
in
no.
one of
It's
those
for
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Goosey.
It's Wednesday. It's for Wednesday. No, I'm not. I'm not. It's for Wednesday.
Oh,
Good
what a
night.
cat. What a cat.
Good night.
Typical
Good night,
Queensland cat.
guys. Thank you for
Mate, you're getting
listening.
I can see it already. Put on your tiara and go away, mate. Yeah, go to bed, princess.
I told you to be quiet. I told you all to be quiet. Thanks for listening. Please hit that subscribe button. I don't know why you would after tonight, but surely if you've
No,
laughed, hit that subscribe button.